I'm Dustin Cormier, and this is the How to Rock Astrology audio series. The information in this recording is copyrighted by Dustin Cormier, 2015, all rights reserved, except where noted in the recording. The following information on ascendant or rising signs comes from Stephen Arroyo's Chart Interpretation Handbook, copyrighted in 1989 by Stephen Arroyo, published by CRCS Publications in Sebastopol, California. I do not own the following content. Guidelines to interpreting the ascendant. Although the ascendant is of deep and pervasive importance for each individual, there is no denying that it must be related to the rest of the chart, and especially to the sun sign, in order to understand it thoroughly for a particular person. The sun, after all, is the core identity, the very center of the consciousness, the way we assimilate much of our experience, whereas the ascendant, although it varies in importance from person to person, is not as central to the person's nature. It shows, among other things, the approach to life, but the sun shows life itself. The ascendant must serve the purposes, values, and creative goals of the sun for the individual to function happily and fully. A useful tool for understanding how a person's ascendant and sun sign interact is to compare the elements of the two factors. For example, a Cancer sun sign person with a fire sign rising is usually far more extroverted, forcefully expressive, and confident than a Cancer sun individual with, say, a more conservative, self-protective earth sign rising. For another example, an air sign sun person with a water sign rising may appear much more emotional than he or she really is, whereas a water sign sun person with an air sign rising may appear far more detached and less emotional than he or she really is. It should be pointed out that people are often relatively unaware of their ascendant nature as compared to their sun sign. In that sense, the ascendant is a factor that can be consciously developed further over time and consciously utilized to aid one's self-expression. I've known people who are relieved to find what their rising signs were, since it finally gave them a way of identifying a very deep but only semi-conscious tendency in themselves. In some cases, the qualities and abilities symbolized by the ascendant were just beginning to emerge, and learning the astrological keys to this factor helped personal development greatly. I should emphasize here that perhaps more than with most other factors in the chart, the early environment can encourage or suppress the expression of the ascendant's energies, since it is a primary channel with which one interacts with the outer world. The reader should view the following comparative evaluations as guidelines and as questions to explore, rather than as rigid statements of absolute truth. Capricorn Modality or Quadruplicity. The Capricorn Modality is cardinal, the active energy mode. There are exactly 4 of these active signs in the zodiac belonging to the cardinal modality. These include Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and they all share similar characteristics. The 4 cardinal signs exhibit more restlessness than the other 8 signs. There's a sense of, I've got to do something, and a tendency to be enamored by activity for activity's sake. These active signs share the challenge of identifying the source of their behavior. Are they motivated by true inspiration, or are they rushing around because they feel like the crap's going to hit the fan? Or maybe they're trying to avoid feeling lazy and unproductive. The element of the ascendant. The element of the ascendant reveals the quality of energy flow directly vitalizing the physical body and the overall approach to life. Fire or air signs rising tend to conduct energy, encouraging active self-expression and dynamic expenditure of energy. Earth or water rising signs tend to conserve and resist the flow of vital energies, and hence indicate self-containment, sometimes self-repression, and the tendency of living within oneself. Earth signs rising: Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. A matter-of-fact outlook. Focus on the material world and conservative attitudes can inhibit imagination, which is then allowed to limit the person's options and/or restrain spontaneous self-expression. Steadiness and reliability are often well developed and highly valued by self and others. Practicality and inborn patience give more tolerance for routine than other ascendants show. A systematic approach, usually along established channels, is the most common method of expressing oneself. Capricorn Ascendant or Capricorn Rising. Capricorn Rising often expresses itself with extreme negativity and skepticism, more often than Capricorn Sun does. However, one should understand that in both cases, this apparent cynicism and disdain for the new is often a protective cover for a more inquisitive, vulnerable, even spiritually open nature. Capricorn simply does not like to have time wasted on unproven ideas, but practical and logical proof even of unorthodox realities will often be enough to capture their interest and eliminate their automatic skepticism. Although Capricorn Sun and Ascendant are both extremely concerned with outer form, appearances, and reputation, the Capricorn Ascendant seems to be far more fearful of public opinion, often going to great lengths to appear normal, conservative, and safe. Capricorn Sun seems to have a greater drive toward achievement and authority, and a more determined approach to worldly success. Capricorn Ascendant sometimes seems satisfied merely with being secure. Both are so impersonal that relations with others are often problematical, although Capricorn Sun is more often than Capricorn Ascendant finds it hard to relate on an even one-to-one level. The following information comes from Isabel Hickey's classic text, Astrology, A Cosmic Science, copyrighted in 1992 by Isabel M. Hickey Trust, published by CRCS Publications in Sebastopol, California. I do not own the following content. Capricorn on the Ascendant. In early life, has delicate health, but improves as life advances. Sensitive, timid. Inarticulate in early life, and suffers from a feeling of inadequacy. Overcomes it through sheer necessity, for there is determination to achieve their goals and purposes in life. Great ambition, and have no peace until they have reached the heights they have set for themselves. Money and position are important. Reserve that often appears to be coldness in makeup. Because they are ethical, righteous, and do their duty, they do not feel that they are critical or cold. All too often they are. As children, always falling and scraping their knees. This is due to poor physical coordination. Later in life, the bumps and scrapes come to the pride. Knees represent true humility, the power to bend. Any trouble with the knees is the outer manifestation of an inner inability to be flexible and flowing. The following information comes from The Secrets of Your Rising Sign by William Lamb with Webb Harris, Jr., copyrighted by William Lamb in 2004, first published in the USA by Fair Winds Press in Gloucester, Massachusetts. I do not own the following content. Capricorn, the wise old goat, is always in charge. With a business is business attitude, people with Capricorn rising strive to earn recognition for their accomplishments. They usually exude a respectfulness that puts them in good stead with their superiors. But they're so calm, cool, and collected that they sometimes wear a face of stone, even exhibiting insensitivity. They believe in take it on the chin and the buck stops here. Capricorn children are often cooperative and easy to raise. They value the approval of authority figures, handle responsibility well, act older than their years, and sometimes delight in bossing people around. They're prone to jealousy. They grow up accomplished, authoritative, and bossy. Do what I say, and don't raise your voice to me. Physical type. Well-defined jawline, sometimes a bony face. Favored colors. Brown, medium, grays. Business-like tones reflecting the Capricorn regard for moderation. The following information comes from Isabel Hickey's Astrology, A Cosmic Science, copyrighted in 1992 by Isabel M. Hickey Trust, published by CRCS Publications in Sebastopol, California. The significance of the Sun and the Sun sign in astrology. The symbol of the Sun in astrology is a circle with a dot in the middle. This is a very deep occult spiritual symbolism. The circle represents the eternal self that did not start here and does not finish here on earth. The dot in the middle represents the divine spark at the center of every living cell, the light which lighteth every man which cometh into the world. It is the point of light at the center of every living cell. In the blueprint, the sun represents the main expression of the individual, the heart and core of beingness. The sun has a different effect on individuals born at different times of the year. According to the sign and house in which the sun is placed, we are able to judge the general vitality and physique, the qualities of leadership, and the individual's ability to succeed in life. In a personal chart, the sun represents the basic drive for significance, the will, male relationships and female charts, especially with the father, vital energy coming from the etheric levels and prana, fuel on which the total personality operates, urge for power, constitutional strength, and finally, a powerful sun means very great power to do and to be. Keywords of the sun: will, individuality, spirit. The sun is the significator of the spirit in man, the beingness or isness of life. It rules the basic drive for significance, the will to be. Physically, the sun is the sustainer of life, giver of light, heat, and energy. More than anything else in the chart, it shows the will, man's highest expression. Its aspects show deep character traits, the chief ambitions. It needs aspects to the planets for strength of expression in the horoscope. As the sun moves through the signs, its return to the sign of its exaltation, Aries, the eastern horizon, marks the beginning of the astrological year. Springtime brings the release of a new cycle of life. As the sun moves, Aries sun. Aries is a fire sign. These are the common characteristics of people born with the sun in fire signs. Basically motivated by inspirations and aspirations. Recharges energy through vigorous, physically demanding activity and by pursuing new visions for the future. Interpretive guidelines for the sun in Aries. Radiates forceful, confident vitality. Tries to fill need for recognition with self-assertion and direct, competitive actions. Forceful assertion of individuality is necessary for full self-expression. Identifies self as explorer, pioneer, the first to begin an adventure. Quickly grasps essentials. May antagonize others with too forceful expression of individuality. This final article comes from The Secrets of Your Rising Sign by William Lamb with Webb Harris, Jr., copyrighted by William Lamb in 2004, first published in the USA by Fair Winds Press in Gloucester, Massachusetts. I do not own the following content. Aries born around midnight. Aries with Capricorn rising. Arians with Capricorn rising are ship-shape, by the book, and disciplined, the trusted keeper of the keys. They're never the mouse at play while the cat's away. They won't leave early when the boss is out of town. They're competitive hard bodies, not only in their attitude, but sometimes physically as well. And it's a bit difficult to know how much sensitivity exists here. They're awfully ambitious and accomplishment-oriented, and their hands-on management style equips them to run businesses of any type. Long hours usually don't faze them, and they love to be on the move. They're active in the home and with family too, but hopefully they don't take their parenting so seriously that they run their household like an army barracks. They're just so thorough and in charge. Yes, these folks are good moms and dads and wonderful organizers, but they're born slave drivers for any business's business purpose. Arians born around midnight need to use a little finesse and put some icing on it. If they'll give an encouraging word, they'll make things work a little easier. They're too serious and sober, and potentially sour in their authority. For them, human interaction can become mindless competition. And the fact that they always win doesn't help. It fuels their get-ahead-of-everyone mentality. They simply need to allow their charming Aries to show through. Enough demanding hard-ass already. It makes everything more difficult than it needs to be. Here's an interesting prospect. Stop treating everyone like a competitor and get more cooperation. Some of the best qualities of both Aries and Capricorn can, in tandem, actually cause difficulties. The wise old goat is quite capable of accomplishing great things, but these people need to avoid letting their strengths become their weaknesses. Building on their loyal, diligent, and respectful behavior serves them wonderfully through life. It reveals them as incomparably dependable and earns them the seat of authority. Their instinct is to be visibly fair and equitable with the responsibility of leadership. Both the Aries Rocky Mountain Bighorn and the Capricorn Mountain Goat are ambitious high climbers and know how to watch their step so as not to stumble and fall. They wisely calculate their moves and pick and choose their path to success and recognition. If they'll compete only with themselves rather than with others, they'll earn the support they need to get what they want and do the best job imaginable in one fell swoop.